Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Bible. I'm Sonny Childs. Hello, and welcome to DeRidder, Louisiana, western side of Louisiana. Very rainy day here. I am about to go off and perform the wedding of two young people who I've watched grow up all their life. Kind of an exciting morning. Hoping the rain will lift so they can have a really pretty day. Marriage, or as the preacher said in Princess Bride, marriage. I was thinking about Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure, for God will judge the adulterer and the sexually immoral. As I do this, I want to give you 3 points, but let's work them backwards for emphasis' sake. The third of the 3 points would be, for God will judge. There's some punctuation to that when you're talking about the subject of marriage. Unfortunately, we don't seem to take marriage as seriously in our American culture as we need to. It's almost a disposable concept. And I guess that goes along with culture. You know, we got our disposable razors, we got our disposable everything. And so nothing's really built to last. It's just built to get you through until the manufacturer wants you to buy another one. Well, this particular manufacturer, God, intended for it to last for a lifetime. And he says in the third of these 3 points, he says, you know, God's going to judge, or he says, I'm going to judge with regards to how you treat the marriage that I've set up since the beginning. And I think that when you understand that and you recognize again the punctuation of that, you begin to put a little more teeth, if you will, into the previous 2 concepts that I wanted to look at. All right, working the passage backwards then. Okay, for God will judge, that's number 3, so now number 2. He says marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure. If God is judging, and this is something that specifically gains his attention, then it's important for us to recognize that you can't hide from God. And so when we recognize that the marriage bed should be kept pure, the general concept of sexual unity, there's a purity that should be had because of the fact that it was created by God. Our minds have to be protected because God is even there. It's late at night, we're on a trip in a motel room, and we turn on the computer and there's that pop-up of something sexual that they want to draw us into wherever, and we go there thinking to ourselves, well, our mate's not even with us, you know, who will ever know? God will know, because remember, number 3, God judges. So the marriage bed, the sexual relationship, the intimacy that occurs, that has to remain pure, because God is everywhere, and sexuality is a holy thing. And when we reduce it to something just simply for pleasure or for self-satisfaction, we find ourselves crossing a line that God will judge, number 3. So God will judge. Number 2, the marriage bed needs to be kept pure. And then number 1, marriage should be honored by all. The word should there obviously indicates God's desire, but a recognition that it's not always going to be that way. In our fallen world, we find that marriage not only is not honored by all, but often is dishonored by most. We, as Christians, have to set a bar. May I say to the men out there, you need to do better at bragging on your wife. For whatever reason, we feel like that it's a manly thing for us to suggest that we have subjected our woman, and that we are in control in a sense that we are big and bad, and the world needs to know that I am a masculine, whatever I am. And yet God doesn't ever seem to portray it that way at all. Even when he uses the word submit in references to women, there always seems to be this idea that men should treasure that woman and the gift that the woman is given to him with regards to submission. The marriage should be honored by all, and gentlemen, sometimes the reason it's not is because we are the ones who are not setting the bar like we need to. It's pretty obvious in the New Testament that men are called to lead with regards to spiritual things in the home, etc., which means then when you got a problem culturally, it generally should fall first on the shoulders of the men to fix it. We need to talk more positively about our wives. We need to talk more positively about marriage in the presence of our children. Our kids need to see the affection between us. They need to hear with regularity the security that they should have because our relationship, husband and wife, is secure. All of these things are very, very important because, number three, God's going to judge it. And so you got God's going to judge. Then you move that back to a little bit of a less intimate position because you don't get any more intimate than God. So God's going to judge. A little bit less intimate. You got this whole marriage bed thing between man and his wife. And, of course, God's there as well. And then you move it just a little bit more out of the most intimate realm into this idea of just marriage in general needs to be honored by all. And we set the bar for that. So we need to do better. Well, a rainy day in Western DeRidder, but going to go off. I hope it's a beautiful wedding today for these kids. Sonny Chow signing off. Be there, Matthew 16:26. We are the Sonny Chows and Family Ministries, serving as missionaries to this great nation. Please pray for us and consider adding us to your missions giving.